The world today is trying to brainwash everyone with the word evolve. It's being wallpapered in the fabric of human society. They talk about humans evolving to their present way of thinking, like it is natural for them to think as they do. That that it's just something that happens that they have no control of and that they are stuck in or whatever. But people's thinking is not something that's just a mindless force. People are making decisions to think the way they want to. And they're using propaganda to make others to think the same way. There's no evolution involved. They lie to people, for instance, about embracing the homosexual lifestyle, that if one engages in that's evolution, that's where they're supposed to be, that they cannot change. That's the way they must be. Such a lie. Because people make a decision about what they do and what they don't do. And an intelligent person can stop such perverse things. Many have. The word evolve is being propagandized into people's minds, as though people are encased in wrong thinking and do not have a choice to do what is right. Now, when we go to evolution in regards to science, we find no evidence of it at all. Now, this is interesting because the many in the scientific world, they bet their life on evolution, so to speak. But they're supposed to be about the scientific method. A scientific method is supposed to be establishing the facts. Well, with evolution, they disregard that. And it's about, and they pay no mind to proving. Instead, in spite of the facts, they press on with their belief in evolution. Well, we ask this question: when has anyone seen evolution take place? When has any scientist observed evolution taking place, which is part of the scientific method? Well, many have pointed to the COVID virus, how it got stronger or whatever, to moths and the change of color, and bacteria, how it resists antibiotics at times, on and on. Any change they see, they say evolution. They plant the flag of evolution. But a virus remaining a virus, a human remaining a human, a moth remaining a moth, a finch remaining a finch, in no way proves evolution. You have to show, for evolution to be real and to be the reason why life came about, you have to show that it turns one species into a whole nother species. And that no one has ever seen. No such evidence has proven that. Now they go to the fossil record, and all they're doing there is making assumptions, because you cannot simulate evolution from dead bones. And their last resort is saying, well, most of the scientists support it and it's taught in all the universities. What a cultic, weak argument. Just because people by vote accept it, that doesn't mean that it's true at all. That's not even an argument at all. That's just like, well, everybody else is doing it. That's childish. Why do they do that? Well, in short, they have nothing. They got snake eyes, and yet they want to propagandize people with this, and for what purpose? Well, Psalms 14:1 tells us what's the purpose behind it. 14:1. That's why so many easily fall into it in Psalms. This is the reason why they easily fall into these rationalizations. 14:1, the foolish one says in his heart, there is no Jehovah. Their actions are corrupt and their dealings are detestable. No one is doing good. So it's about doing what they want to. That's why it's so easy for them to accept evolution and then say, well, the scientists are saying it, so it must be true. They don't want to look at the facts. Well, their conclusions are illogical. They claim that a Big Bang caused everything. Well, that would mean that Big Bang, this explosion, would have had to have no beginning. And so, which is it? Is it a Big Bang that had no beginning, or a creator who had no beginning? Which is more logical? Now, many people want to say, well, how could the creator not have a beginning? Well, the reason why, because he's the creator, and that's the only logical conclusion that Psalms 90 verse 2 brings out. There is no other way out of this. The creator had to have no beginning. They say the Big Bang had no beginning. For the Big Bang to be there, it would have to always have been there. There is no way out of this. The creator had no beginning. But which is more logical, a Big Bang or a creator? Well, look at the eye and the intricacies of the eye. Would you want a mindless force to work on your eye if you needed eye surgery? How about for any operation? Would you want something mindless working on you? No way. Because there's intricacies there. You got to know what you're doing. You need an intelligent person working. And that's fascinating how doctors do what they do. But it takes, and they have to learn and study. And skill has to be there. It has to be an intelligent person. You don't want nothing mindless working on any part of your body. So if a mindless force cannot work on your eye or any part of your body in operation, surely a mindless force did not make it. Yes, Psalms 90 verse 2 brings out the creator had no beginning. That's the only way it could have happened. Just the assembly line, like with the Ford, when he started the assembly line of making cars, it was a process. It required a designer to put it in order. Build cars requires people to work and do it, intelligent people. The processes and all nature, everything that was made, the intricacies required a designer. And this would therefore prove that there is a creator, and he made it all, and he had no beginning. You can go in a house, if you see a house in the desert, no way would you think that it made itself, but you would appreciate Hebrews 3:4, that even a house has a maker, that God made all things. So as Romans 1:19 through 20 says, there is no excuse to deny the creator. Everything shows that there is a creator. Everything. There's no way you can get all these intricacies of which humans study years and years and years and still don't know the half of it without there being a creator. No inventor wants people to believe that some mindless force made what they invented, but yet they don't want to give God his credit. They don't want to give God his glory and praise. They want all the praise and glory. They want people to listen to them. They want people to follow whatever they say while they ignore the creator who made all things. Pure hypocrites. Humans have acknowledged God by their many pagan gods all over human society. They didn't have nothing about evolution, all about gods. And this shows a knowledge that there is a God, but yet they had perverted from the way of serving the true God, because there's no way the true God could be some image you can put in a corner. He would be greater than anything that was made. Yes, he had no beginning. Yes, they do this because they want to make, the reason why man perverted to such pagan idols, that way he could dictate the terms of worship and do what he wanted to. But again, there's no benefit unless we worship the true creator, the one who made all things. The pagan God is nothing. The creator is what it's all about. So evolution is about the same thing. People want to believe anything that allows them to do what they want to. As we look further in this evolution and read some of the books of Charles Darwin, of what he wrote about it, we find that in his writings, really, evolution is one of the supports of white racism, white supremacy. We know that every time, when Darwin was talking about the fittest and who's naturally selected and everything, he was talking about white folks. And then he was putting down those who are African descent as unevolved. And so those who have ascribed to him have used it to bring out the chimpanzee, monkey, and banana references to those who are not white, particularly blacks. You see what they did in regards to Michelle Obama, one of the most beautiful first ladies and yet they didn't, because of racism, they were referring to chimpanzee and monkey type references, which is what evolution is all about, white supremacy. And if you read his book, you can see that's what he was, and that's what he used evolution for. No, there is no evolution, for it's the purest form of fraud. It is scientists using their status to lie to people. There is only God, and we are his creation, and we live because he allows us to live. And so therefore anything that would direct us away from God is pure wicked. So we need to stop letting people mislead us, tell us what to think, telling us what appeals to the flesh, to what we want. And we need to stop letting that happen. And yet, instead of that, reason properly and come to such logical conclusions logical and truthful conclusions, which is that it's not evolution. Evolution is the purest form of fraud, that there's only a creator with no beginning, and that is what is reality, and that is what we as humans need to accept and find every way to learn about the creator so we can live in harmony with him and what he has created.